As we listen to the earnings calls, there's definitely a theme that we hear. We hear executives saying business is down because it's the gas prices. Well, I want to talk about the fact we need to stop blaming the gas prices. I am going to tell you about the consumer data and how they're responding, but at the end, we're going to talk about what is really the underlying cause of these business results. We've all felt it. We go to the gas station, we fill up our tanks, and it's kind of sticker shock when we see how much we're having to spend on gasoline today. Consumers are going through the mental math to actually determine what are the trade-offs I'm going to make, given that so much more money is having to go to gas. But in fact, what we're seeing in the data is almost half, 47%, are saying that they're just even driving less because it's so expensive. But here's the little glimmer of hope. About 4 in 10 consumers are actually saying that when gas prices come back down, and they're expected to come back down at some point, that they will go back to many of their normal activities. But the big question is, what do we do in the meantime? So when we look at restaurant data specifically, on the surface, now make sure we're going to get to the rest of the story in a minute, but on the surface, what we're seeing is that only 2 in 10 Americans say they have not changed their behavior at all. So that clearly means that almost everybody, 8 in 10 Americans, are saying they've done something different because of the gas prices in their restaurant behaviors. So let's break it down. The first is 35% are saying they're just visiting less often overall. But what's happening is that that's not the only thing. We're actually seeing consumers are driving to closer restaurants. They're actually trying to manage their check and maybe not order as many things. And clearly, they're actually leaning into more apps in the restaurant deals that are out there. But what I'm going to talk about next is what I believe is the true issue of what's going on with sales, because we know that there are certain restaurants that are still performing just fine in spite of all of these gas price increases. So when you look at the data, there's actually other activities that are feeling it as well, with consumers reporting that they're going less often. And what you can see here is there are things like going to nightclubs, movies, retail, even family entertainment centers. Those are ones that consumers report going less. But we also have activities that consumers report going more, and that are things like cruises and vacations. So consumers are making the choice of where to spend their dollars. They're not totally sitting on the sidelines. They're being very choiceful of where they want to spend their money. And that's what really is at the root of why businesses are down in some places, but not all. It's all about being worth it. So one of the things I wanted to see if there was a relationship between is the activities going more or less often, and is it worth it? And guess what? Perfectly predictable that if an experience is more worth it, then guess what? The consumers are reporting doing those activities more often. And the same holds true on the other side. If they're going less often, the data on is it worth it is much lower. So here's the so what, now what? We have to stop blaming the gas prices. Next time you hear that in a meeting, it's the gas prices. Stop everybody right there and say, no, we need to control the experience and make sure it's worth it. So until next time, stop blaming the gas prices. Next week, we have some exciting news. The other thing that a lot of companies are blaming is GLP-1. So we're going to break down a lot of the myths about that next week. Stay tuned. Until next time.